Okay, hi everyone. I have no signal out here in the middle of nowhere. Actually, we're not in the middle of nowhere. I know exactly where we are, but I'll show you where we are in just a minute. But I've been waiting for this moment in time since I was probably 7 years old.
It's working over there.
Okay, hi everyone. I have no signal out here in the middle of nowhere. Actually, we're not in the middle of nowhere. I know exactly where we are, but I'll show you where we are in just a minute. But I've been waiting for this moment in time since I was probably 7 years old. So we've been out here looking for Squatch today. We have not found Bigfoot. Sorry to inform you that our day of squatching has yielded nothing but big puddles, quite a few potheads out here in the woods. But we did just enter into what might be the most amazing, magical, wonderful land in North America, and I'm going to show it to you right now. See that? We are now officially in Passamaquoddy. And all of you who know me well know that I've been looking for Elliot my entire life. And I'm gonna find him here in this forest. My dragon is waiting for me somewhere. Elliot!
Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, the domestic goddess and dragon hunter extraordinaire from the Paddy Wagon.
Oh, so yeah, I hope that went over really well. I think I have a little computer lockup issues, but
so what else is
new? So we were out in the woods looking for Bigfoot this last week in the Passamaquoddy area, territory.
You haven't played our intro.
What?
You haven't played our intro. Your intro.
All right, is that better?
That's better. Thank you. Now we can start for real.
Now we can start the show. Okay.
So like Scott was saying, last week we were out squatching in the Passamaquoddy Indian Reservation.
Yep.
I did not find Elliot.
I know. She's looking for Pete's dragon, if you're familiar. So, hi, Evie, Dale. Donna, Renee,
the guy from
Patty
from New Zealand.
Yes.
Evie, go watch Pete's Dragon, the 1970s version. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't seen Pete's Dragon, it's pretty awesome.
It's my favorite movie.
So
don't watch the new one. That one was horrible.
And aloha.
Aloha, yes. Are there Bigfoot in Hawaii?
I don't think so.
Well,
they have little people.
They have little people. Well, they've got the Yowie in New Zealand, and that's kind of in that same Pacific Rim sort of thing.
Kind of, sort of, but not.
Okay.
Okay. Now that we got the initial hellos out of the way, what I wanted to talk about tonight, if you saw the headline there, it says how to find Bigfoot. So we're going to be looking at how to find Bigfoot. And what I want to do tonight is
I've been corrected.
What?
Yowie
Used
is
in
Australia.
Australia.
They in New Zealand have, I'm going to butcher this word, the Mohau man. Is that
Hmm.
oh, what's the indigenous tribe in New Zealand? Is that a Maori word?
Yeah, Maori
Mohau?
word, mohau. Sounds like it. Um, so what I get a question a lot when we run into people on the street is, uh, if Bigfoots were real, why don't people see them all the time, or how come we don't have any proof? All those lovely things like that. So what I want to do is kind of answer some of those questions. Now, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I have spent stupid amounts of time in the woods looking for these things. And in the last 25 years, I've had uno sighting of a Bigfoot. One in 25 years. And I wanted to talk about why that is. Why do you think that is, honey?
Why do I think that is? Because I never seem to go out with the jalapeno poppers ready.
Okay.
I am telling you, Squatch and Elliot would have both come out had I had some jalapeno poppers with me.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be science.
That's got to be science.
I didn't have any crystals. I didn't have any rocks. I didn't have anything to raise my vibration.
Okay. All right.
Actually, on this particular day, I don't think there was Squatch or Elliot in the area because there were too many people getting freaking high in the forest. That could have driven them away. What do you think?
We did run across a couple groups that were woo. Okay.
Yeah, like contact high. Oh, yeah. What do you think Bigfoot's response to pot is?
I don't know. I don't want to know. What would happen to humans if Bigfoot was high? I don't know.
Oh.
No, but what what we were going to talk about is how to find Bigfoot. And I know I say that at the end of all our go out and find Bigfoot. You know, that's the tagline at the end of the show. And I think the only way we're going to actually prove this is just the amount of reports that we get and the amount of people who no longer believe in Bigfoot but know that they are real. Because
that keeps growing.
That keeps growing. You know, people give me these things all the time that have the Bigfoot that says "believe" on it. You know, and I think it's cool, and I think it's cool that there's people have a belief in it, but like I've said many times, I want to leave belief up to religion, and I think this is more of a scientific thing.
And speaking of religion, I just watched a great YouTube video on the 10 least religious states in the country.
So
Maine's one of them. Okay. So actually, let me go back to here. Our friend from New Zealand says that the Mohau man is named after Mount. I'll butcher it.
Mohau.
Well, no, it's different, but it's named after a sacred mountain that is a burial place for a 9-foot tall Maori chieftain. Ooh. That's very interesting. A 9.
Yeah. Do you know I have not got into New Zealand lore?
That would be fascinating. Maybe when we're driving back cross country, I'll get some stuff and I'll read it.
Or maybe we could have him
guest on our show. Hey, our New Zealand friend, how would you like to zoom yourself into our show one of these days before we leave?
Yeah, there we go.
Send us a private message and on Facebook and let us know.
Look up Squatch America or email me at squatchamerica@gmail.com.
Yeah. So, and he also asks, do Sasquatch eat magic mushrooms? Do they participate in ceremonial activities? That sounds like another show altogether.
That's a whole new
show. But we could certainly explore that.
I want to explore that. As a matter of fact, Maine happens to have a Bigfoot related sacred mountain also.
Yes.
Mount Katahdin.
Mount Katahdin, which will kick your arse.
Yes, it will.
Did mine last year.
But
we were supposed to climb it again this year. Unfortunately, I fell like a fainting goat and blew out my knee, so there would be no mountain climbing for me this year. Shucks.
So, but anyway, we did get out in the woods, and we were actually off topic. Rabbit, squirrel. Okay. Anyway, where we were actually, if we showed you that video a few weeks ago about the guys in the four-wheelers looking for, or they got the shot of the Bigfoot running by, and we talked about it. We were actually, that was the area, and we're trying to find that location. And we spent a whole day, and we covered like the east side of that trail system and of the lake, the east side of the lake on that trail system. And we're going to go back sometimes in the near future and
get the west side
covered. So we're going to work on that.
And how easy is it to take a YouTube video and look at the terrain and go, I bet we can find this spot if we drive around.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, which gets into our topic of the evening.
What? Hey, I am brilliant.
How to find Bigfoot. So here's the deal. And I'm going to reference something I know from Eastern Oregon. So we're going to talk about just one area where there is lots of Bigfoot sightings. But why do we not have proof? So let's talk about the Umatilla National Forest in Oregon. For those
Umatilla, actually.
Umatilla. What the Umatilla National Forest has. Well, I'm going to have to combine the Wallowa Whitman with that also, because both those national forests
bleed
into each other, and they cover pretty much all of the Blue Mountains in Oregon. There is 27,000 square miles of forest in those two national forests. 27,000, or what did I say? 27,000 square miles of forest. And as far as the population goes in that area in Eastern Oregon, you've got Baker City population 10,000, LeGrand probably 14,
Pendleton 25.
Basically,
you've got less than 100,000
people, and those are in three big cities that are on the bottom of the mountain on both sides, not in the mountains.
So if you count all the rural people, you're going to have 100,000 or less in the entire everything east of Portland.
Exactly. In that 27,000 square miles.
Which is why we liked living there so much, because it just wasn't very people-y.
So you got so with that said, that's just people living there, of course. Of course, there's tourists and hunters, and in the wintertime skiers. There's a couple ski areas up there, but those are in concentrated little areas. You've got little towns, and there's a few scattered farms around the little towns, but mostly it's rugged terrain and trees.
And granite.
Granite
has about 6 people.
Yes, the town of Granite is the only one that I know. Well,
I know someone who actually just built a cabin.
Tollgate, I don't think anybody actually lives in Tollgate. But Granite has what? 6 people living there. And that happens to be in the dead center of the mountains. But that's the only town of 6 people. Now, so think about that. And think about how many animals are in the woods. So we see deer all the time. According to the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest, there's 10,000 deer in the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest. We see those all the time.
9,000 of them who inhabit the towns.
Town of Baker City, mostly.
It's true.
Yeah. Then they say there's 8,000 elk. We see elk all the time. And then especially in the wintertime, there's an elk feeding station just outside of Baker. 2 of them, actually. And we see elk in that area all the time. Now, they say there's close to 1,000, 1,200 bear out in the woods. And the times I spend in the woods, we look at maybe seeing a bear every other year. I see one in that area. Not every year, but every other year, I've seen a bear out in the woods. And there's supposed to be like 400 to 600 cougars in that area. I've never seen a cougar in the woods. Now,
they're stealthy.
Just recently, they say there's close to maybe 1,000 wolves in that area now.
Which would explain Renee's comment that the deer are in serious decline.
Right, because of the wolves.
The wolf release.
The wolf population. And now the wolf population, they say they're about 1,000, but they say they're not any in a lot of the areas that they are. So I've seen one. Actually, I haven't seen it, but I caught one wolf on a trail camera that we had put out for Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen lots of wolf tracks in the area, but I've only caught one on a trail camera. And I've never seen one in real life out there. But, we hear people of seeing them, But there's been several caught on trail cameras. So there's 1,000 of those. So if there's 10 Bigfoot, what are our chances of seeing one eye to eye? And if they are nearly tool making, or not tool making intelligent, but maybe language, primitive language, capable, what's the chances of us ever seeing one? Now, I have a theory that, like most, a lot of other big footers have this theory also, is the ones that we do see are juveniles making mistakes, and or mothers or fathers showing themselves to lure people away from juveniles, babies. Which I think that's a great theory.
Well, it's consistent with the rest of it's consistent with the rest of the natural world, because that's what animals and birds do.
Okay. And Renee said she saw a wolf, a white one.
Or a cougar.
Wolf, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's white cougars. There's white wolves.
What?
There's only gray or tan cougars. Oh, and maybe possibly black ones, but that's in the south. There's a white
buffalo. Why wouldn't there be a white cougar? Okay, there can be an albino anything. Open your mind, man. Feel like Captain Kirk talking to Bones.
Yeah. Oh, you're funny.
I know I am. It's what makes this channel so awesome.
Oh.
Oh.
Funny.
I've completely distracted him now. He has no idea what he's talking about.
All right, show's over. Pack it up. Let's go home.
We are home. Oh. Anyway, so what are the chances? So your original title for this was How We Hunt, or How We Look for Squatch.
How We Look for Squatch.
So get to it.
So so we're looking for, and I saw Dale say that in the chat earlier, we're looking for a needle in a haystack, basically. And sometimes we're looking for a needle in a pile of needles. You know, it's crazy. So we're looking for a needle in a haystack. And our chances of ever seeing one are minuscule. Minuscule, minuscule, minuscule. I mean, like I said, it took me 20 years to see one, and I got 3 seconds to see it. That was it. And I count myself lucky. I'm extremely lucky. But I think my chances of ever seeing one again are like super minuscule now. But here is my theory. And to answer the question, how do we find Bigfoot?
How do we look for Bigfoot?
How do we look for Bigfoot? One, we got to be where they are. So in that 27,000 square miles, we got to figure out where there's 10 of these things at any particular moment.
Because your theory is that they generally stay in small tribes, small clans.
Mm-hmm. Right. Probably small family units. I'm thinking mother, father, last year's child, and this year's child, maybe. You know, and I'm not sure what the gestation period on a Bigfoot is, but
it's probably similar
to humans and chimpanzees.
Gorilla, yeah.
So probably one child a year, maybe. So
you got to go where they are.
So you got to go where they are, and if they're in small groups spread out around that whole area, oh my gosh, I mean, it gets harder. I meant the numbers are astronomical, you know, the chances. So you got to figure out, and this is what we did, where they are, when. And the way we did that is by reports. If you watch the reports that come in and like go to the BFRO website, they have a lot of reports come in your area. Look for the reports, but pay particular attention to the dates and the locations. If there's reports, a lot of reports in a certain area on a certain date, we know that's where they're at that time of year, possibly for migrations, or they're following food. And another thing is to follow the food. Like what's right? Huckleberries.
Right now,
for all you in Eastern Oregon, and I know there's several, huckleberries are this close. Up here in Maine, in up here in the northeast of the United States, you know, Vermont.
Right now, it's blueberries, blackberries, raspberry season.
Raspberries are getting close. I mean, they have them around here. I've been keeping close eyes. They're not quite even. They needed a little more rain, but they're going to ripen probably in another 2, 3, 4 weeks. So watch whatever food is available and where. Which isn't always a good indicator because humans go up and pick huckleberries, I know, in Eastern Oregon all the time. And
that makes some good jam.
They seem to find huckleberries that aren't eaten by Bigfoot.
And if you haven't watched the episode of our YouTube channel called Bigfoot Stole My Huckleberries, you need to do that because it's really funny. Kind of scary, but funny. Bigfoot Stole My Huckleberries.
Yeah.
Great episode.
Yeah. Let's check a couple questions right here.
Donna would like to buy an audio device to leave outside. You can make recommendations for that, can't you?
I can.
You don't have to show them anything.
There's a word called Tascam.
TASCAM, Tascam.
Tascam. Look up that audio device is called Tascam.
They're not
recorders.
they're not prohibitively expensive.
No, but that's a really good audio recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as leaving them out, you kind of got to watch the weather.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take them, and I know a lot of people will take PVC pipe and put them inside it, so hanging upside down in there, so the microphones are facing down, and if it rains, they stay dry.
Now, are there any trail cams that have an audio record feature?
What?
Are there trail cams with an audio record feature?
Yeah, all of them do.
All
pretty
of them.
much
So
nowadays.
you could just go get
But they only record when they see something. They don't just record audio all the time.
Got you. I see that.
So that's one thing. But Tascam will run all the time, and depending on how big a SD card you put on depends on how long you can record. The battery life on them is a long time, so I think I can get 12, 13 hours. So you can put out overnight basically, and record with those.
Okay.
So.
All right, and she thinks you'll see one again.
I hope you do. And yeah, I think there is some people that are more susceptible, or dare I say lucky, to see Bigfoot more
Time
often.
plus consistency equals results.
Exactly.
If we could get a summer where you weren't building buildings,
yeah.
where you could just sit, not in a campground, but in the middle of the woods somewhere.
Yep. So, what else do we have? Look, okay.
All right. So, what's next? Is that your whole show?
No.
Well, then keep talking, man.
No. So, reports are one thing. Follow the reports. And if they're in certain areas. Another thing is there are consistent areas. There really are. What's interesting to me is there, let's say, for instance, in the Blue Mountains, there is the watershed area. And there's a couple watershed areas. This is places where municipal water supplies come from. They're usually off limits to humans, which is pretty handy for the Bigfoot.
And usually to goats, but sometimes they break in and screw it all up.
Yeah. So I know Baker City has one. It's up the Marble Creek Road. Hint, hint, hint. To my Eastern Oregon people.
Wink, wink, nudge, 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 Marble Creek.
Yes. And the Baker City watershed area.
We got an awful lot of reports there.
Yeah. That's a good place. There's, of course, the famous watershed area where the Freeman film was taken above Tollgate area, above north of a place called Jubilee Lake. Where there are constant reports.
I wonder why that is. Why would Bigfoot be hanging around
watershed areas? Mainly because there's water.
Well, and two, because there are no people.
And there's no people because a lot of the watershed areas are fenced off and off limits to humans because they don't want the water contaminated. But there are some special instances where you can go into the watershed areas. I know the watershed area in Baker City, you have to go to the city, and you have to have a deer or elk tag, and then you have to petition the city to hunt that area, which, by the way, the hunting area where the watershed is in that area is called Area 51. Just saying. So if you get like the hunter area, that's where you go. So for some reason, the watershed areas seem to be fairly prominent.
Renee said that she saw her first cat and cubs at the Beaver Creek watershed.
There you go. Yeah.
So lots of
Lots of wildlife in the watershed areas. Hence, lots of wildlife.
Food source.
Food source for Bigfoot.
It's amazing when you take people out of the equation, how much is actually going on there.
Yep.
I could do a whole show about that, but moving on.
Moving right along. Okay, it's we're halfway through our time right now, so we're going to take a commercial break.
Right. If you have not joined our Patreon supporters, you can do that by going to www.patreon.com/SquatchAmerica. And for only $3 a month, you can join the Squatch Americans, get a thank you letter. Would you stop moving that on me?
Okay.
Get a thank you letter, exclusive Squatch America sticker, access to a monthly patron-only YouTube live chat, patron-only blog posts and messages, and patron-only meetups. And for $5 a month, now you can show more. You get the thank you letter, exclusive Squatch org. You got to change that. Squatch America sticker designed specifically for tribe members. I guess that's us. Access to a monthly patron-only YouTube live chat, patron-only blog posts and messages, access to exclusive content not available on our YouTube or social media pages. Do we have any exclusive content up yet, sir?
A little bit.
Okay.
But I haven't. I have neglected to post it there. So
10%.
My bad to our Patreons. Exclusive content coming soon.
Is anyone interested in being our social media manager? That would be helpful.
Yeah.
You will be paid in a heartfelt reward of volunteerism. 10% discount on all ticketed events and store merchandise, and input on our research via Inner Circle member polls. You might even be published or brought onto the show. $5 a month.
There we go. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Okay.
If I can get back here.
I have a hair in my eyeball.
All right.
I'm going to have to look really weird on screen while So keep talking while I dig the hair out of my eyeball.
And hello, Lockbeard. So.
Sorry, I was digging hair out of my eyeball.
Okay. All right. So, why don't we have proof of Bigfoot? That's a question I get when people ask me, well, how do you find Bigfoot? How do you prove it? Or there's no proof, or blah, 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 all that stuff. Okay. One, I believe there is lots of proof, and people do see them all the time.
Before you continue, Donna wants to know if the 10% off includes the event in Maine. Unfortunately, we are not sponsoring the event in Maine. That is an externally sponsored event, and the fee is $5.
Yeah, so it's not prohibitive, really, but
we're not the ones charging for it.
Yeah,
our apologies to you.
Yeah, we do a lot of our own.
Well, we're getting back to doing a lot of our own stuff. If we sponsor an event, yes, the 10% off does count.
Absolutely.
If someone else is sponsoring it, then we don't have any control over that.
Mm-hmm. There, question answered. Okay.
Okay, it is blazing hot in here.
It is. It was warm today. It's 82.
Our friends in the Pacific Northwest would kill for 82.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, why don't we have proof? Where's the proof?
Oh, we do have proof. We got lots of proof. There's footprints found all the time. How do I know? Because I find footprints not all the time, but
frequently.
In my squatching career, I have found
he finds footprints several times a year.
5, 6, 7, 8. I've probably found 8 footprints in the last
5 years.
9, 8 in the last 5 years. So you just got to know what you're looking for. Usually in the springtime is when you find a lot of footprints because that's when it's muddy, FYI. So we got hints now. Follow the food, follow the watersheds,
And follow the seasons.
follow the reports, and follow the seasons. Spring for footprints.
Maybe even fall,
A little bit.
but mostly spring.
Mostly spring for good muddy footprints. Winter for trackways, where you can find long trackways. We have found and have reported to us in the last 5 years 4 very long trackways in the snow. One we actually saw and followed up on ourselves, and other ones were just reports that we've got.
Blackbeard is cracking me up.
Okay.
No proof for 3 reasons. 1, government is hiding it so they do not have to face the music for human rights abuses against forest people. We've done shows on that.
Yes,
2, Bigfoot is that good at hiding. Yes. And number 3, we are that pathetic. Like that guy.
Yep. Exactly. I like all 3 of those reasons. So
we are that pathetic.
Yeah. In fact, I forgot I can do this.
Show that.
There we go.
Yeah. By the way, sir, you have a glorious, glorious beard.
Yeah. So, yeah, I am absolutely.
You've been drinking something other than coffee tonight?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just your horrible coffee tonight.
Hey, my coffee was wonderful. By the way, tonight's coffee was part of this guy's nuts line. And this was not nearly so entertaining. This is pistachio, and I like it. So there.
I don't like nuts in my coffee.
He likes plain old boring coffee like Sumatran.
Yep.
Colombian.
So
I like coffee with weird names like Fluff Your Nuts.
Yeah.
I tend not to like fruity coffees though. I don't like fruity coffees.
I like chocolatey coffees. So anyway, and for all those reasons, what's our next thing? How to find Bigfoot.
How to look for Bigfoot.
Oh, wait a minute. How to look for Bigfoot.
Because looking for Bigfoot and finding Bigfoot are 2 completely different things.
Right. Now, one, and here's another hint. Time in the woods. Time in the woods. Did I mention time in the woods? Back before the nightmare that was 2020, I spent at least, I'm pretty sure, 100 to 150 days a year in the woods leading up to my sighting. And that's another reason probably why I've got to see as many footprints as I have. And it's just time on target, as they say. It's, for me, it wasn't just a weekend thing. It was every night after work. It was my summers off when I was working in a teaching position. You know, it's 3 months. It was out there just spending time in the woods, as much time as possible. So that's another one. That's how you find Bigfoot, is just time. And so you got you got to know where to go, when to go, and then you got to go. You got to go a lot. So that's the other one. What's the next thing on the list there, dear?
I have 0 idea. But I'm telling Rockbeard where to find the awesome coffee.
Oh, okay. All right. So time, location, that's another one. But anyway, and there are signs. Now these are
signs everywhere.
signs.
What kind of sign?
Yeah, that kind of
For
sign.
pathetic humans?
No, there are signs. There's the signs being now this is a little sketchy. Tree structures, rock stacking, rock clacking, tree knocks, whoops, the sound stuff. Um, some of those things are a little sketchier than others. The whoops, the sounds, and stuff like that. That's right up there on my list. We have recorded whoops. We've recorded tree knocks. We've actually got that stuff. I have. We.
How about jars of Nutella that have been weirdly.
That's the next thing.
Oh,
Don't jump my thunder.
don't jump your thunder. Steal your thunder.
No. I make my own words.
Yes, you do.
So anyway, you
in case y'all want to know, he was up on a roof in the hot sun today, and I think
my brain was baked.
Yeah.
I was doing roofing today, and it was like 90 degrees, and it was a tin roof, and
it was, yeah. So if we're a little spacey,
I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
So anyway, where was I? What was I talking
Signs.
About? Signs. You sang the song. Okay.
Yeah.
So signs are a good thing to find. Tree structures and rock stacking and stuff is one thing, but the sounds are another. So spend the time in the woods, and believe it or not, I have got most, if not all, now that I think about it, all our sounds that we have got, the tree knocks, the whoops, and stuff that we've recorded, hasn't been in the middle of the night. Mostly just at sundown.
Mm-hmm.
Or
wild mammals.
Or just at sunrise.
Wild mammals are the most active at sunrise and at dusk.
Exactly.
Because that's where it's cool. That's where humans are not generally out and about. Their eyesight, I'm sure, is much better than ours. We don't like being out at those times because there's not enough contrast for us to see well.
Mm-hmm.
However, creatures that are acclimated to the wild, they've got better eyesight at those times, so they're going to be out active then.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, just a little heat stroke, no big deal. I'm good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
No.
Actually,
no, I drank a lot of water today, so I stayed on it. But
I was actually having blood pressure issues from the heat today, so,
yeah, so.
It's not fun. No bueno.
Anyway, now what was that you suggested that you blew my thunder with?
Nutella.
Baiting. There's the other one. Baiting, and I think in the Bigfoot world they call it something in
gifting.
No, not gifting. What was the Diane Fossey? Oh my gosh, my brain did quit working today.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Come on, you guys in the chat. I know what I'm talking about. Where you spend time with them, and they get to know you, and you get to know them, and they get closer, kind of thing.
Habituation.
That's the word. All right.
We'll get to that question later. Finish your thought, or else you're gonna get.
So habituation and baiting is another really good one. Like Hannah mentioned, Nutella jars. Some of the most remarkable stories I've heard has to do with Nutella.
Because Nutella is just remarkable anyway.
Right. A lot of people they say they leave apples out and stuff like that, but I've heard a lot more stories leaving Nutella.
It's even better than peanut butter.
Yeah, it's even better than peanut butter. But baiting's one thing. But you got to be careful with that because you're baiting not big not just Bigfoot. You're baiting the whole forest if you think about what you're doing. So
Can you see a raccoon getting a hold of a Nutella jar? Oh my gosh.
probably, yeah. And
they would cut you for it.
And yeah, but can a raccoon get the lid off? That's the problem.
Probably.
So
they're smart little buggers.
So what we try to do,
and they have opposable thumbs.
Yeah, what we try to do is hang the Nutella jars up high in trees. Usually put them inside of a PVC pipe. Take a PVC pipe, hang it up the tree, put the jar inside it with the lid secured on it. And so it doesn't have a scent. So something curious that sees it can pull it out, but just not every Joe Blow bear can smell it and try to pull it out of the tree. And then you can tell if the jar was unscrewed and sampled as opposed to munched by a bear. Mm-hmm. So, because the bear will just eat the whole jar and all. So,
for Nutella, I might do the same thing.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I need to plug down as sweet treats, Nutella no-bake cookies. Once you have one of those, you will never eat a regular no-bake cookie again.
You'll never go back. Yeah. So, to answer one of the questions, when we were talking about tree structures, Donna said, what kind of tree structures do you look for?
He's going to show you on his cellular device.
So, I have found some odd tree structures. Some of the tree structures we have found, when you see broken trees, snapped off trees, stuff like that, there's a lot of those in the forest just due to snowfall. But things that are out of the ordinary. The number one is trees pulled out of the ground, turned upside down, and jammed back in the ground with the stumps in the air. That is number one.
Or how about trees ripped out of the ground and slammed through other trees?
That's number two.
Now he's got to scroll through his camera photos.
No, I don't. Let's see if I can get this. Come on.
That's me.
Come on, focus. Oh, got it. There we go.
That's me.
Yeah. See that? That looks like a nest. That tree was 6 inches, 8 inches around, maybe 10, but it was broken over and the limbs were pulled down to make a nest. I don't know anything in the forest that does that. That's one.
And it's not snowfall. It's out in the middle of where there were no trees.
Right.
It's like they were ripped out and dragged somewhere.
And put there. There's one. And another one is that. Trees stabbed through another tree.
Okay, with that could have been the Blair Witch. I mean, that's very Blair Witchy.
That's very Blair Witchy, yes. But another thing is these tree structures aren't near hiking trails. They weren't near roads. They were out in the middle of nowhere. Where if somebody tried to fake that for us, why would they put it where nobody's ever going to be? That's the thing.
Yeah.
The same thing with footprints.
So, welcome back, Craig. Hey, we went to the eye doctor this week, too. It's a week for the eye doctors. Guess what? The eye doctor told me, for someone as incredibly nearsighted as you are, your eyes are remarkably healthy.
Your big raccoon eyes.
I know. I just can't see out of them, But I get new glasses here in a few weeks. So anyway, Lockbeard says lots of time in the wild, but I never paid any mind to Bigfoot. My mind was always on collecting animals, plants, shrooms, rocks, or panning gold. So I can't say I've seen Squatch. Actually, with that kind of behavior, you may not have seen Squatch, but I'll bet Squatch has seen you.
That's the thing.
So
what have we learned this evening?
First of all, following up on Bigfoot sightings is a pain in the butt because it really is hard, especially if you don't have like
Exact
coordinates. It's really like looking for a needle in the haystack. And although it is fun and you might find magical dragons, I mean, that's pretty cool. But it really is hard to go out there. And if you have any wait time between the sighting and when you can go out, I mean, that's just time for any indications to deteriorate.
Right.
And how fast does it take for a footprint to go from beautiful muddy footprint to, oh my gosh, grass has grown up through this and you don't even know it was there?
1 week. I can attest to that. I found a footprint. I didn't have any casting material with me. It took me a week to get back to that area because I had to go back and work and live and all that stuff. And then the next weekend,
darn all that working and living crap.
Yeah. And the next week, I got back out to that spot, went directly to and I'm like, oh,
there were wild daisies growing up in it by that time.
There were grass just growing through it, and I'm like, I can't even see the track anymore. It's gone.
Yeah. So getting out, following up on reports, it sounds like, oh, we're just gonna, pack our packs and jump and run, and it does not always happen like that.
It doesn't.
And what else have we learned? One that following up on reports is not as easy as it sounds. It's a lot of fun, but not necessarily easy. What else have we learned? Always go armed with jalapeno poppers and Nutella.
Right.
Ooh.
Whenever I sense them or turn around and leave the way I came, I don't want to trespass. I have a trespassing story, but
you should share that right before we end. I wonder what it would taste like to dip my jalapeno popper in Nutella.
Wow.
I know. It could be the latest s'mores variety. Anyway, what else have we learned? Follow the reports. Follow the food. Follow the water. And follow the seasons.
Or you look for different things in different seasons.
Yes.
We'll put it that way. So.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
And bait.
Nutella.
But like I said, tree structures are kind of iffy because they're not always Bigfoot. They're not always, what you think they are. And they're hard to classify. Hard to classify, hard to prove that, that was a Bigfoot, But there are some.
They're very interesting, though. Now, if you have a tree structure and it's full of prints and hair samples, and that's something different than just a random tree structure.
And I've seen trees that have fell this way, and they stack up, and they don't look like they could have possibly done that. But snowfall does weird things,
Yeah, but it does.
And a lot of times you don't know. That's another thing. You don't know when that tree fell and when that tree fell.
Yeah. However, generally snowfall, I wouldn't think, causes trees to pile on top of each other in the middle of a clearing.
Right.
Which is where you saw that last one. So anyway, well, we are just a few minutes before we need to leave, and we have to wrap this up. So we do have some sad news.
What? Hold on. We got a question here.
Oh. How do we know what they want? I figure if they're observing me hard enough that I can sense that I'm getting too close. Well, you know what? I honestly, if I would say this, okay, so you got sciencey skeptic here, and you've got open to mystical mumbo jumbo here. Okay. That's probably the best way to describe me. How am I going out of the camera? Anyway, so here's the thing. Just, you know how dogs know? Dogs know whether a person is a reasonable human being or not. Okay. I truly believe that animal instinct is far, far greater developed than our instincts are, because they've got more senses working for them.
Right.
They can hear, they can smell better, they can see better. We really are kind of pathetic in the mammalian world. So honestly, Lockbeard, I really think that Bigfoot falls in that category. And they know if someone means them ill. They know if someone is out to harm. And honestly, if someone is out to harm, they are not going to be seen.
Yeah.
Even the juveniles are not going to be screwing up. The reason the juvenile made eye contact, I mean, I think ultimately that juvenile wasn't just curious. He was curious and felt safe enough to, play with you, because he was kind of playing with you, grunting back and forth. So I think we need to give them the sensory credit that they are due.
Right.
And if you sense a Bigfoot, and they will let you know whether they don't want you there. Hence, rocks thrown over your head.
Yes, and Papa just said that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Craig.
Yeah, they give me the dread, and so they'll let you know if you sense a Bigfoot in the area, but you're not. Like, we've had so many people tell us that all of a sudden I was back at my truck and I don't remember getting there.
Right.
If it's not triggering, if they aren't using the infrasound and they're not triggering that fight or flight, then it's like no problem. So
right. So if you're feeling dread, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like Hannah just mentioned, the infrasound, which causes a dread feeling, like they growl so low you can't hear it audibly, but your chest feels it.
In your gut,
and you're like, something's wrong. I've had trees deposited in my campsite at night. That's another thing that kind of gives me the idea is like, you need to leave.
And you guys did.
And we did. And so there's, and rocks is another thing. I had, in fact, this spring, Dale and I had a rock thrown at us up here in Maine already. So
anyway, back to the sad news that we have. We were very much looking forward to going to the State of Bigfoot conference in Grants in Josephine County, Oregon, at the end of August. We found out today that has been canceled primarily due to wildfire activity. Right. They are in the thick of, are right in the middle of the wildfires right now. And so they have canceled.
Over in Eastern or Western Oregon.
Yeah. Southwestern. So we will not be going there. However, we are still working with Ren at Tollgate to put together at least a Bigfoot day
there. And I've actually been messaging with the folks at the State of Bigfoot conference that's coming up
to see if they would just move it there.
To say if they would move it to Ren's spot, and we're in the preliminary chat. So if they do that, when we were planning on going to Tollgate and doing the thing this fall anyway. So, but if we happen to get that worked out, it won't just be me and Hannah there at that conference in Tollgate. It'll be Shelly Cummington, Montana. It'll be Ron Moorhead, Shane Corson. I'm going through the list in my head. I can't look it up on the website anymore. It's not there. And a bunch of she's going to kill me. I forgot another anthropologist.
Shelly.
Not Shelly, the other one. I forgot her name. Anyway, so there'll be some awesome other Bigfooters there that's got a lot of knowledge, and and they'll be sharing that with you, and you'll get to talk with them. So hopefully I can get that worked out. So what?
Show or hide?
We can show that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bigfoot Anon, y'all see my video with Moggs and CFB. I don't understand what that means. Sorry. Help me out. But so that's hopefully some kind of Bigfoot something is going to be happening in Tollgate in mid-September. And after that, we will be going to the Yakima Bigfoot Con in some capacity, if not as guests, then as just going to enjoy it in mid-October. So we leave Maine on August 9th, and we will be starting our journey back to our stomping grounds.
Right. So we
haven't been there since May of last year.
Right. So we're going to be working our way back there. Donna, we could slide through Vermont.
I'll bet we could slide through Vermont.
Hint, hint. We could slide through Vermont on the way. And we're probably going to stop at Kenosha,
Wisconsin, and Winona, Minnesota.
Those are two other places we've been asked to go to on our way working back west.
Yes.
So
just remember, Donna, I like good coffee. So I don't know if there's such a thing in Vermont. That Green Mountain coffee is not what I call good coffee. So, Bigfoot Anon was on with Mongolian Monster and Central Florida Bigfoot. Hey, Joe is on. If you have not subscribed to the Squatching Cowboy on YouTube, go do that as soon as we're done.
Yep.
He's got some great video footage up. I haven't watched all of it, but I have watched some of it, and we need to support each other. So if you have, I'm going to put an invitation out there. If you have a Bigfoot YouTube channel or a Bigfoot Facebook page or group and you want us to subscribe to it, please send that to us in a Facebook message or an email at squatchamerica@gmail.com or something like that. And we will do the best we can to catch up with all those and subscribe to everyone.
That's it too. And another thing, other Squatching YouTubers, we'd like to have you on the show with us.
Yes. So
we have the ability to do that now. So
yes. So Joe, we got to have you on
and talk.
And Lockbeard, I want him and his glorious beard on screen with us.
Yep.
Because it's a glorious beard.
Oh, by the way, South Dakota.
Awesome.
Is awesome. Craig just said South Dakota is awesome.
It is. South Dakota is
where my drive is our hometown, our home state. That's where my driver's license says, South Dakota.
Yep.
So, and my license plate's on my truck. Squatching Cowboy said anytime. Thank you. So
with all that,
we are going to go out probably in the next week or two and go finish looking for
another needle in the haystack on the west side of the lake.
This guy that we're still looking for.
You didn't show your film where you tried to pace with the ATV.
We're working on it. That's going to be some of the
for next time.
Or for the exclusive content.
Oh, exclusive content. That's right. On Patreon.
On Patreon.
So with all that said, thank you so much for watching with us, for putting up with our slightly heat-addled brains tonight, and for being just an awesome community. We really look forward to
we would love checking with all you guys.
If you haven't joined Patreon, please join Patreon.
And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that too.
Subscribe, share this video, because actually last week's video got more views on it than we've gotten in a long time.
Good.
So let's keep that going. We have great news. We just reached 1,500 subs. So let's see if we can get that to 2,000 by the end of the year. So put us out there, talk us up, chat us up.
That's that. And
remember, we are the Ricky and Lucy of the Bigfoot world. And
if you can, come to Millinocket, Maine on August 7th.
It's $5.
And-
I wonder if our friends would cater for us, do a private thing.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So come see us there. And then we're going to be working our way across the United States, and we'll see you in events all over. So,
Okay. Donna's coming, and her sister
oh, I can't wait to meet you in Poison.
in Poison.
All
All
right.
right. Well, we love you all. And just remember that our job is to investigate the unexplained.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
So until next week, keep it squatchy.
And go out and find Bigfoot.
Now that you know how to do it.
Now that you know how to do it.